Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking Monday Night Football, Rams at Bucks. This should be a good one. We've got a promo code. The code is DOG if you want 15% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Again, that code is DOG, D-O-G. Bucks favorites at home, -4. The total is 48. The Rams, of course, making that long trip to the East Coast yet again this season. And if you remember, Tom Brady might have some fond memories against the Rams. He won a Super Bowl against the Rams in 2019 in the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time, 13-3, at least in the modern era. Obviously, these are two different teams, but just a fun little fact. The Rams are 6-3 this season, 5-4 against the number. The Bucks are 7-3, 5-5 against the spread. We've got Lee from ASA joining us to break this one all down. Lee, initial thoughts when it comes to this Monday night game?
Well, when you first look at both these teams, the first thing that stands out is defenses. A lot of hype around Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay offense, but it's really been, if the Bucs are going to win a Super Bowl, it'll be their defense, I feel. They're two top five defenses in terms of yards allowed per game. The Rams are second. They give up less than 300 yards per game. The Bucs, right at 300 yards per game, they're third. The Rams are second in scoring defense. They allow 18.7 points per game. Bucs eighth. They give up 22.6. When it comes to passing defense and rushing defense, they're both top 9. Tampa Bay, which, this is the statistic or the category that we look at that carries the most weight when it comes to the NFL, and that's defensive efficiency. Tampa Bay is first. Rams are 8th. If we switch gears and talk about the offense, the Rams offense just faced a horrible Seattle defense and managed 23 points. Prior to that, against a below average Miami defense, they only scored 17. So I don't see the Rams scoring many points against this Bucs defense. And conversely, I think, Chelsea, you and I have talked about this in previous editions. Tom Brady has struggled when he goes up against a team that can pressure the quarterback. He's lost to the Saints twice this season. Their Saints are 8th in sacks per game. They only managed 25 points against a Giants team that's 9th in sacks. And now they face the Rams, who average 3.4 sacks per game and are second. I also like the pace number. The Rams are 18th in pace of play, so they tend to play slower. Tampa Bay is 12th, a little bit better than average. But I think the defenses dominate the day here, and I do expect a lower scoring game.
Yeah, you talk about quarterbacks performing a lot worse when they're under pressure. Tom Brady's one of those, and so is Jared Goff. Jared Goff seems to be one of those guys that is not good when there's a lot of pressure on him. And there's probably going to be pressure on him coming from this Bucs defense that has been really good this season, with the exception of probably against the Saints. And it just seems like that's their bugaboo. And usually there's anomalies like that when it comes to divisional opponents. For some reason or another, there's teams that have each other's numbers. So I don't know if you completely dismiss that, but I think obviously the Bucs defense is good. I think we can say that. So I too think that the defenses are going to run the day in this one, especially because it's a primetime game. And primetime games this season, 19-13 to the under and 31-17-1 last season. So historically, over the past couple of years, unders have been the play for the most part when it comes to primetime games. I don't know what it is about the night games. We saw that game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals stay under, which that had a really high total. I'm not saying it's just because it's at night, but something of note. I think for me, it's the defenses here, and both quarterbacks do not perform well under pressure, even though you've got really explosive weapons on both sides. The Rams at one point were leading the league in yards per attempt, and then you've got the Bucs who have all kinds of weapons when it comes to receivers. It's going to be a blow-for-blow game, and both teams kind of trying to control the clock. We saw Ronald Jones do a little bit better last time out. He was having some issues with fumbling, but last game he found his footing and had a really long run, I think for a touchdown, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm on the under as well, under 48.
Yeah, no, sounds like we're on the same page. And you talk about the primetime games, and I think historically the odds makers will adjust for the primetime games with a higher total, knowing that the public tends to bet overs. It normally gives you a little bit more value with the under. A couple other points I wanted to add here. The Rams have gone under in 6 straight against the NFC, and the Rams' yards per point offense, which is, again, another critical stat we use in handicapping totals. It takes them 16.5 yards to score a single point, and that's worse than teams like Washington, Denver, Chicago, Jacksonville. So as we talked, Jared Goff and the offense for the Rams really haven't lived up to expectations this year, and it's going to be really tough sledding against the Bucs.
Yeah, even though I know some people like the Rams in this spot. I think it's tough to go to the East Coast and do well. Obviously, we've seen Russell Wilson do it. That's one of the stats that people always like to bring up. I don't know. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I could be wrong, but I think both of these coaches know how to game plan for the other one. You need to get pressure on Tom Brady if you can do it, and you need to get pressure on Jared Goff if you can do it. Are there any other factors that you're looking at in this one? Obviously, we're doing this a little bit ahead of time, so we can't see the weather. But are there anything else, any other factors that bettors should look out for?
Talking about the game itself, I really don't have a preferred side in this game. I would lean towards Tampa Bay. When I look at a game like this with my years of experience, and it comes down to who are you going to pick in a side like this? In the NFL, I just tend to take the better quarterback, and obviously that's Tom Brady over Jared Goff. So, I think we're in full agreement on the under, and then, if I'm forced to bet a side, I'm just going to take the better quarterback in this situation, which is Brady.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our Monday Night Football talk here on Picks and Parlays. As always, great stuff from Lee from ASA. Lee, thanks for joining us.